There is a 600-year-old manuscript locked away in a university vault that has shattered every attempt to read it. Look closely at this page. The book itself is small, about the size of a paperback, but its contents are entirely alien. Instead of standard text, it's filled with unidentifiable plants, strange astrological mandalas, and surreal biological scenes of women wading through intricate plumbing systems. Some of the sharpest minds of the last century have tried to decode it. That includes World War II codebreakers, cryptologists at the National Security Agency, and advanced artificial intelligence networks. Every single one of them failed to translate a single word. We live in an era where we assume all information can eventually be processed and understood. This specific collection of parchment and ink proves that assumption wrong. The modern story of the manuscript begins in 1912 at a secretive sale of old Jesuit texts at the Villa Mondragone, just outside of Rome. An antiquarian rare book dealer purchased it from the monks. His name was Wilfrid Voynich, and he spent the rest of his life trying to understand what he had bought. Voynich traced the book's history backward. A letter tucked inside the cover linked it to Rome in 1666. Before that, it belonged to an alchemist in Prague, and records suggest it was originally purchased by the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II in the late 1500s. Today, it sits inside a highly secure vault at Yale University's Bionicle Library, catalogued simply as MS-408. But there is a major gap in that historical paper trail. We have a highly documented chain of custody spanning centuries, yet knowing who owned the book does absolutely nothing to tell us what it says. To figure that out, researchers first had to prove it wasn't a modern fake. In 2009, a team from the University of Arizona subjected the vellum to radiocarbon dating. The results were definitive. The animal skin and the ink were created between 1404 and 1438. With authenticity confirmed, linguists turned to the most logical explanation, the cipher hypothesis. This is the idea that voynichese is actually a standard European language, masked by a complex encryption method. In the mid-20th century, military cryptanalysts attacked the text using techniques developed during the World Wars. They expected to find a traditional medieval substitution cipher, where specific symbols map directly to regular letters or words. But the mathematics of the text refused to cooperate. Standard languages have predictable phonetic patterns. Certain letters and sounds appear with reliable frequency. The Voynich text completely lacks those patterns. It resists frequency analysis entirely. If this is indeed a cipher, whoever wrote it invented an encryption system centuries ahead of its time. Because of that extreme mathematical complexity, investigators had to consider a darker alternative, that the whole thing is a scam. That brings us to the hoax hypothesis. In the 15th and 16th centuries, creating fake mystical manuscripts was a highly profitable way to extract wealth from Renaissance nobles obsessed with the occult. To test this, researchers used latent semantic analysis, an AI technique measuring how words relate, allowing software to group text into topics without knowing definitions. The data maps into perfectly tight semantic clusters, strictly separating the botanical sections from the biological ones. Pure gibberish would leave a disorganized scatterplot. It couldn't organically produce this mathematical coherence. That mathematical structure points toward our final theory, the language hypothesis. Further statistical analysis revealed the text is actually split into two distinct dialects, known as Courier A and Courier B. Even more striking, those different dialects align perfectly with different styles of handwriting found throughout the book. We have clear evidence of multiple scribes writing in distinct, mathematically sound dialects. That eliminates the idea of a lone scammer making a quick buck and proves this was an organized effort to record something real. Today, the academic consensus is settling. The Voynich manuscript is a genuine, multi-authored document. A group of people worked together to preserve a specific body of knowledge, and they did it using an entirely lost linguistic framework, or a highly advanced code. We can sequence the proteins in the calfskin pages. We can use Raman spectroscopy to identify the ground azurite in the blue pigments. We know exactly what the physical book is made of, but we are absolutely blind to what it is trying to tell us. In an era where algorithms translate languages in milliseconds and digital networks process the sum of human knowledge, This small artifact remains the ultimate benchmark for the limits of our intelligence. A book looked at for 600 years, but never truly seen.